Stop loss clusters, how to spot reversals or continuations. Firstly, you will need the SLC indicator from fxssi.com products, and you will need a pro license. At the moment they've got a 14-day trial. After the 14 days you will need to pay for the license, but I 100% recommend that you do download the pro license after your 14-day trial. They are absolutely amazing, and they give you a very high level, powerful look at the market structure. And for us, it's been invaluable for the QuasiDB guys. I just recommend that everyone downloads it for the reason for it, just really because it's so profitable, because you can see what the herd are doing, and you can have visibility of where they had their stops. And this video will tell you how to identify a reversal continuation after those stops. And these guys, like the normal guys on Twitter, they have got absolutely no visibility of where the majority of their stops, nor do they know whether or not it's going to be a continuation or reversal after the event. And now we do it at QuasiDB, and this is what this video is about. Contact me on Telegram, on Twitter, if you'd like access to a promo code. I think it's 66 or 70% off. So it's a very good promo code. I recommend that you use it. It's just like I say, it gives you a very powerful view of the market. And it's been very profitable for us. And it's important to know the fundamental background to today's stop loss hunt. And today was the Bank of England interest rate decision. And there's a lot of chatter about negative interest rate policy. And I didn't really know, well, no one really knew if there was going to be any dissent in the voting. There was talk about one voter suggesting negative interest rate, but what actually happened is that they've put it off till 2022, and no one knew that until the event. So as we went into the risk event, by having the stop loss clusters, you would have noticed that the stops were very wide, and that indicates indecision and terrible risk management from the crowd because they're so wide. So it's quite evident that either stop loss cluster was going to be targeted, the one below or the one above. And because it was a surprise to the upside, and they were quite optimistic and bullish, especially about the coronavirus vaccine rollout and things like that, they were projecting that UK is going to have a higher inflation than expected. So it pushed price up, and it was looking like it was going to get their stop loss cluster above. And here are some screenshots detailing the events as they unfolded. So there's the retail guys where they had their stops at 13686, and we really rallied hard after the BOE. And you'll note the size is 2.9, and that just simply applies the amount of liquidity at that particular level in stops. It could be $290,000 or it could be $2.9 million. We don't have visibility about how much that is in like raw form, but it's quite a large size. They tend to get no larger than 10%. We've never seen a large stop loss cluster that exceeds 10%, but 2.9 is quite healthy, it's quite substantial, and it's quite a historic stop loss cluster as well, which we can see over time. So it looked like it was a likely candidate, which went out to Telegram and say, watch for this level, it looks like it's going to get probed. And it did indeed get probed, and that liquidity got taken. So how do we know if the banks, etc., are satisfied with that liquidity? And we have a very good indication by examining the stop loss cluster size after the event. If the stop loss SLC size reduces after being probed, it suggests reversal. The school bullies got their lunch money. If the SLC size increases after being probed, it suggests continuation. The crowd quickly moved their stops away. So if this number got smaller, then it's just like job done, and the banks they just walk away laughing. Retail guys suffer, and so that's like a likely indication of reversal because the size got smaller. That's the theory. Okay. the size did indeed reduce in size, indicating the potential reversal. 0.5% size was taken, so it wasn't a particularly large size reduction. Was it enough to satisfy the school bullies? Now we can check whether this is the case by applying some very basic technical analysis. Now, if we examine the ATR 14 indicator on the 1 minute time frame, you would have noticed they pumped volatility prior to the SLC probe. So this is that pump, and they wanted that stop loss cluster above. Okay, because it was positive news and it took people by surprise. So they pumped the volatility, as we can see. They continued to pump volatility into pound USD. So they took the stops, and they increased the volatility. I suppose you could say the fear. They pumped it up even more. Now finally, the stops were taken and physical size reduced. However, you will note that the ATR volatility also reduced. Why? Okay, so they pump. That was to the very limit of the fear of the retail guys, and then down we came. Now, so this is a very good indication of the market telling us that it was job done. So the bullies got their bunch money, and then they've gone to the next market, and they're going to prey on those guys. So they're taking enough stops on pound USD for the day, as we can see by this dwindling volatility in the ATR 14 chart. Note the largest of the circles was the SLC probe I mentioned in the presentation. So there was that SLC got taken, and can you see the reduction in volatility after the SLC probe? Like, we've taken your money, we don't care anymore. We'll let the price fall because we've punished you, and that's good for us. We don't care about you, and price comes down, and that's the volatility. So they ramp it up to a point of extreme. The guys give up, and it comes down. And so because we had visibility of the SLC, we knew we can use that as an entry point potentially, because we know that's the extreme fear zone. So you could enter with a stop loss there, and so you see how it works. So that's just a good example of how to detect whether or not a reversal continuation. If this pumped higher and higher, it tells us that they weren't satisfied with the stops they've taken. They want that 2%, but tomorrow's NFP, so why wipe out the retail guys in one day? Why don't you prolong the agony until tomorrow, right? If you can, and that's what they do. So it also happened to coincide with the euro pound bounce off monthly support 1, which is where I TP'd. That was my TP. I was short for a good while, and I got out at MS1. And this is the search tool that's on the spreadsheet. And you see that the bears were making pips. Now that's unusual. Usually the bulls and the bears should be losing, but these guys are making money. So I was like, okay, that's a bit dubious. I advised everyone prior to the event that this was going to be my exit. So I got out. In fact, I took half off and moved I moved it to break even. So I didn't fully get out, but that was my target, and it reached. So you see how it's technically bearish as well. But yeah, so it does coincide with MS1. Monthly support is a strong level, and so that was was a nice confluence for the pound USD top, because we hit the support on euro pound. Okay, so that was a nice coincidence. And so if you utilize the SLCs in conjunction with the ATR after the liquidity probe, you have considerably greater confidence in the direction thereafter. You need to be aware of the fact liquidity hunts take place each and every day. It is very, very common practice. And so conclusion, if you download the SLC indicator from fxssi.com, it is absolutely essential, in my opinion. I can teach how to use the SLC indicator effectively, like in this example. more information in terms of subscribing there's my Patreon at QuasiDB. There's my robot, t.me/QuasiDB help_bot. You can type that into Google and you'll go there straight away. It's quite easy. It says QuasiDB help_bot, and that will take you to all the videos, guides that I've written or recorded over the last few years. It's like a repository of everything I've done in that location. It's quite a nice little robot there. And there's my public chat as well, which you might be aware of or not. That's it really. So just to wrap up, it's definitely worth getting the SLC indicators, especially as there's a promo code that gives you 70% off as well. And hopefully this ATR helps. And we're going to use it from going forward after the SLC probe. And so it was a nice coincidence, a happy coincidence that it coincides with that support. So you could say it was a coincidence or a liquidity probe and reversal. You know, it could be one or the other. But it was a profitable day, so that's all that really matters. And so, yeah, hopefully the video is okay. Let me know if you want a promo code, not a problem. And yeah, I think I've pretty much wrapped it up. But the visibility that you can see where their stops are is quite a tremendous power that you could have, you know, on your screen. Instead of like trading blindly, you know, you've got targets and things like that. So if you knew that that size got smaller and then it started to reverse, well, that would be your entry point, you know, and that could be your stop, you see. But you'd want to check the sentiment as well, the dynamic shifting. So hopefully it was a good video. I'll wrap up now, and any questions, let me know. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you guys soon.